is pretty low, so he'll be required to play and play well in order to max it out. And if he does, then it's worth it. The Titans still have Derrick Henry, and they need to try to capitalize on that window while they can. And the only receiver with like that I feel people think highly of on their team is Treylon Burks. And he was a rookie last year, and he was kind of underwhelming as a rookie. So this gives them a legitimate threat opposite him as a receiver. And then with Derrick Henry, they at least have offensive weapons that can do something. But I still don't think it makes them a playoff team, partly because their quarterback situation isn't great. And when they were really good for a few years, a lot of that had to do with their defense as well, and their defense has not been quite as good. So I still don't think they're a playoff team.
Do we have YouTube sound yet?
We should have YouTube sound.
Woohoo! Noise.
Sorry,
Okay.
guys. If you were trying to listen, thank you to Rob Burns for letting me know.
Thanks,
and if
Rob.
you were trying to listen, you'll have to listen to the podcast. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Well,
We
Rob
didn't say
would've-
anything interesting at all. It was all basketball stuff.
Rob would have loved our English discussion, though.
No, I'm actually glad that Rob didn't hear that, because then if I had somehow gotten something wrong, he would know.
Somehow.
But I don't think I did, so
Yeah.
should be good.
All right.
Well, are we ready for my favorite part of the show then?
Yes.
Rob checked in at just the right time.
Serving questions up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
Stump Daniel is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz. Daniel, I thought you did so well last week.
Last week was fun.
You answered questions that, I did go into your wheelhouse, but you got 13 out of a possible 11 points. You were giving more than 100%.
Yeah. You know.
And you did a lot better than I anticipated. You even answered one of the questions before I asked it with Chan Ho Park.
Yeah. That made me very happy.
If you didn't get to hear Daniel shining during Stump Daniel last week, we did 2001 All-Star Game trivia.
Can you hear someone shining?
Yeah.
Or do you have to see someone shining?
If you want to know how to hear someone shining,
bright.
just go listen to last week's edition of Stump Daniel, and you will hear shine.
Oh.
But I
Shiny.
It sounds like ting.
thought we need to pivot. We need to go non-sports.
Non-sports.
We're going to go
This isn't a
with...
sports show. What are you talking about?
Well, it's been a grammar show so far.
Oh, you should definitely stump Daniel with grammar questions someday.
Oh, no.
We're going to go slang words.
That would not be good before.
I'm going to ask you to define slang words, specifically...
Throwing random.
Prepositions.
It's not going to bother me.
Okay.
Specifically Gen Z slang.
Oh, no.
We're going to see how many of these Gen Z phrases or words that you can define.
Oh, no. This is not going to be good, and I'm going to feel old.
This is important, Daniel. You need to be in touch with your kids, their culture.
Daniel, your first Gen Z slang word, Gucci. What does Gucci mean in Gen Z slang?
Just in general?
Yeah.
I assume it means good, expensive, good and expensive, quality, awesome.
I will accept that answer.
Okay.
Gucci is a slang term that means something is good or okay. Like, for example, I use it in a sentence. Everything's Gucci, no worries.
All right. That's
We-
Gucci, bro, after Brooks Koepka hits a sweet drive.
Sure. Daniel, what is cap?
Oh, somebody just told me this, and it didn't make any sense. Cap is when you're lying, or like you would say no cap because you don't, you like no lie.
That is
right?
correct. You're 2 for 2.
So my buddy at work is coaching a 15-year-old baseball team, all-star team, and he said that for some reason they say cap. Why?
It's from Twitch streaming, and it is related to
It's from
an
something.
emoji.
Doesn't tell me what
It's
it
from,
is.
Well,
Sorry, I'm listening now. That was
it's
mean.
from Twitch streamers, and it has something to do with an emoticon that they use in Twitch chat when they are bullshitting.
Dude, this is a PG-13 show.
That's a PG-13 word.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe it's a PG show. I'm not sure if we've ever said the S word on air before. Justin probably has. I think Justin wants
Sorry,
to-
Justin. I was busy explaining things. I appreciate you filling in.
So no cap.
No cap means no lie.
Wrong one.
Yep.
So like people would say,
Rob thought he wanted sound.
no cap. That was the best pizza I've ever had.
No cap.
Straight facts, no cap.
It was
Daniel, what does it mean?
Gucci.
Now I want pizza.
What does it mean
I want
to be
some
snatched?
Gucci pizza, no cap.
What does it mean to be snatched? Yep.
What? Oh, Snatch is a good movie. Oh.
Not
Which
a
one is
Gen
that?
Z
What
movie
is-
though,
no.
and also not
What is
PG-13.
Yeah,
Snatched?
not even close.
Is that
Never
the
mind.
one with Brad Pitt?
Yeah. It's where he plays a gypsy.
Yeah.
Do you like dogs?
He like Diggs.
I actually like that movie.
Yeah, it's
pretty good.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it though because it is very rated R.
More rated R than Andrew's verbiage.
Snatched. Snatched. Is that like you're taken? Like you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend? You've been snatched?
Ooh, I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It is used to describe someone that looks really good. For example,
What?
her makeup is so snatched. She looks amazing.
How is that spelled?
Just like you grab something off a table.
Like you
Okay.
snatched it?
Okay.
Yeah.
That is so weird.
2 for 3, Daniel.
I don't know the origin of that one, Daniel.
Here's the next one.
I'm impressed by the cap one.
What is a stan?
What is a stand?
Yep.
The guy from The Office?
Stanley?
Is it a grumpy goose?
Oh, I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
Dang it.
To be a stan is to be a really big fan of someone or something.
I've heard
And
about
it's
that.
actually a word combination between stalker and fan. Stan.
That's also not as new as
Yeah.
some of those.
That makes sense.
That's a few
Bussin'.
years older.
Daniel, what is bussin'?
Bussin'. Okay. So I've
So
seen some
clean up
Instagram
after
rules.
yourself.
Bussin. Bussin'.
Bussin'. So I've seen
Not
some
busting.
like Instagram reels where it's like worship music by the Gen Z team,
Yeah.
and it's like your love is bussin'.
Bussin'.
Bussin'. Yeah,
I saw that one. It's pretty funny.
that's a good one. I'm assuming that means awesome, great, amazing,
It refers to anything that is
bountiful,
very good or positive.
sweet.
Specifically, it's often used with food.
Oh,
That pizza is bussin'. That Gucci pizza is bussin'.
no cap.
Daniel,
It was snatched.
Did our parents have this much problems with stuff we said?
Yes.
When we said like sweet, were they
Yes.
confused as why we said sweet?
yes.
Really?
Well, there was definitely this point where I realized that bad meant good as a kid, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that would have been confusing as an adult too.
Yeah, but I feel like that's even older. Like, weren't people calling people like bad mamas like back in the 70s?
Oh, I'm
and,
sure.
Like, stuff like that.
Well,
So our
all this,
parents-
most of this stuff is cyclical.
That's true.
Finna. Finna. Daniel, what is finna?
Can I have it in a sentence?
No, because then you'd know what it means.
Does it mean I'm finally gonna do something?
I will accept that as an answer.
That's
As
partial
an
credit.
answer,
That's
is it-
partial credit.
it means you're going to do something or try to do something, and it's derived from fixing to. I'm fixing to do that.
It's
I'm
basically
finna
a
do that.
contraction of fixing to.
Okay.
I'm fixing to get up now. I'm finna get up now.
How is that Whoa! That just blew my mind. Fixing to is like a term from the 1850s.
Is it?
Yeah, but that's not what they're saying. They're saying finna.
I know, but they got it. But they got it from
No, they
fixing
didn't.
to.
They're just saying finna, Daniel. They don't know where it comes from. Most people using it do not know where it comes from.
Then how did it start?
I'm sure the people that started it knew where it came from.
Mid, Daniel. What does it mean to describe something as mid? I will accept that as a correct answer. It means it's just okay, average, or unimpressive. Daniel, what is a simp?
Oh, a simp is
S-I-M-P.
someone who it's different from a stan,
Yep.
but it's kind of similar. Where like you're such a big fan, but also like you don't have. I feel like you have a romantic obsession with the person you're simping for, and yet you have zero shot, and you even know you have zero shot, and yet you're still a simp.
That's pretty good.
Is that right?
A simp,
Sounds right.
it's often a man but not exclusively, is someone who's seen as desperate or doing too much for the attention or affection of someone they like.
Okay, so I took it a bit further.
But you're pretty much there.
Okay.
A lot of stands also simp.
Okay, gotcha.
Daniel, what is a granola?
What? A tasty bar that you eat?
I'm sorry, but that is incorrect. A granola is not a tasty
Is
bar
it a
that you
hippie?
eat. It's a person who is environmentally aware and enjoys the outdoors.
A person who's
You-
crunchy.
Okay,
Well-
I would have guessed that, but tasty.
You would
tasty
probably
bar.
run into this person on a hike,
Uh,
but you wouldn't
Or at
because
Whole
you have a
Foods.
car. So
yeah, but
or a Whole Foods. Those
Also,
that
I'm-
person is a granola.
I'm way more of a granola than I would like to let on.
I got two more.
My wife's made me a granola.
Daniel, what does it mean when something hits different?
Oh, it hits different. Like it's awesome. It's so.
Justin,
Oh,
it's different.
That pizza, that Gucci pizza is bussin', no cap. It hits different.
You nailed that.
I'm-
It's something special.
I'm
unique.
finna eat it. Except I'd have to use a different term for eat. So
Wouldn't
like,
you rather
I'm
have
finna chomp right now.
Wouldn't you rather have some granola? Something that hits different is special, unique, or causes a strong emotional reaction that is difficult to articulate.
Except by saying it hits different.
Last one, Daniel.
Okay, this is great.
Riz. What is Riz?
Riz is. I actually know this one. Riz is like when you're really good at flirting, and it's short for charisma.
Ooh, I didn't know the origin of it.
That
Yeah.
is correct. It originates from the word charisma. And this definition says the ability to seduce or charm a potential love interest.
Yeah.
Does it mean you have drip?
But it's like
You're dripping with Riz.
no,
I think,
drip
right?
drip is different though.
I
Drip is
know.
more about confidence.
But if
Wait,
you could have drip and Riz. You could
Yeah.
be drippy. You could have drippy Riz.
Could you have Rizzy drip?
I'm not sure.
What is going on?
I don't know.
This is the problem with this generation. They just keep making up words.
So, the first time that I ever heard the word Riz. Oh, that concludes Stump Daniel, by the way. Brought to you by the law.
How did I
office of
do?
Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. Good.
I feel like I did better than I thought
I
I
don't
was
remember
going
how
to.
many you got right, but you did pretty well.
Well, I learned a lot.
is he in the beaver zone?
No.
Let's go Coog
I don't
Zone.
want to be in the beaver zone for that one.
I'm refraining from. Yeah, okay.
There
Coog
you
Zone. Coog Zone.
Yep.
See that restraint?
That was
That was a
great
good job by
restraint.
me.
I
Thank you.
don't have that.
The first time I ever heard the word Riz,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to out who this person was, but I had a group of my older son's basketball teammates in the car, and we had driven out of town for some summer league basketball games last summer.
Right.
And when we were on the way back, I drove him through, I think it was McDonald's, one of the fast food places in Grand Mound.
Yeah.
And one of the kids who was in the back seat on the driver's side thought that the girl at McDonald's was pretty cute. So he started rolling down the window in
Oh,
the back so he
no.
could talk to the girl.
Oh my god.
And then when we pulled away, all of the other teens in the car were like, "Bro, you got no Riz." And I was like, "Riz, what are you talking about?" And then he was like, "I've got Riz. I got Riz coming out of my ears. I got so much Riz." That was how I first learned that.
So he was drip about his Riz.
It was Jackson Wilson.
You just
Although
outed him.
I'm
so
gonna
much.
say right now, if you were to go to my son Peyton's group of friends and say which one of your friends has the most Riz, it's probably Jackson. He's got a lot of charisma. He's very outgoing and personable.
That's a good thing for a
and-
quarterback to have.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most charismatic person I've ever met was the quarterback for the Bearcats when I first started playing for him.
Todak.
Yeah. Also known as Sunshine. Also known as a dude with a freaking cannon strapped to his shoulder. Holy crap.
That seems like that would be against the rules.
It's
You
not.
would
football.
think.
Can you play football with a cannon strapped to your shoulder?
Yeah.
I mean, I never have.
I mean, it's heavy, but
Well, you're not a quarterback, Justin.
I was, but I still didn't have a cannon strapped to my shoulder.
that was awesome. I really
Must be why you
liked
didn't
that
go pro.
Stump Daniel.
That's not the only reason why, but it's one of the reasons why. Anyway,
It's time for a break. I need to listen to the rest of this voice message.
So we're going to talk about the Mariners, why they stink and why we hate them, and then also everyone's going to get some advice from Daniel, and then we're gonna close the show with some local sports stuff, including naming an Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week. But first, let's take a quick commercial break.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Damashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Damashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit damashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Thank you for joining us on the Scrimmage. I'm Justin Damashevitz. Daniel Hargrove here with me, as well as producer Andrew Gross. And we have a couple of good topics for this segment. One of them is going to be advice with Daniel, which I haven't told him what advice he's giving yet, but he's going to give really good advice. But before that, we need to talk some Mariners.
Do we?
So the Mariners, did they win? Did they end up winning today? They were winning.
They won today 2-0.
So
thank you, Daniel.
Maybe they stink a little bit less, and maybe we hate them a little bit less.
Not
but
much.
When last week we talked about the All-Star game, how disappointing it was that we were going into this All-Star game after the Mariners had crapped the bed so badly that you couldn't tell what the original color of the sheets were.
Because it was just
just brown.
green-brown.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
But we were also talking about how well they were playing going into the All-Star break, because they had dropped several games under 500 and then came up with 3 consecutive series wins, including a 3-1 series win against the Astros, right? Is that right? Going into the All-Star break? So then they come out, they're playing the mighty, mighty Tigers, who were more than 10 games under 500 going into this series, and they lose the first 2.
Yeah, the Tigers are sus.
Sussy, bro.
Is that up?
Yeah, sus. Although I think my teenage boys would tell you people aren't really saying that anymore.
Because Among Us is old hat.
Yeah.
Oh, Among Us is old now?
It's old hat. Pay attention.
Gosh. Is it old hat about?
There's dog hair floating in the air.
There was a spider crawling across the table.
Really? Where?
I think
Is it on me?
No, it was a. Oh, here it is. Here, I'll spin it around. You see him? There he is.
Oh, he's tiny.
Yeah, little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't just lose to the Tigers. They lost in a close game where they had yet again more opportunities with a ton of runners on base, and they didn't do anything.
And then Julio watched a third strike to end the game, which just...
And not like a close borderline third strike, like fairly down the middle.
I feel like it's not even that I'm disappointed in Julio. It's that I watch that and I'm like, oh, he's not seeing that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not good. That's terrible.
Right? Like, that's what he should be. Like, if he's the player that everybody says he is, and this is my worry, did everybody crown him too early? Like, everybody nationally has gone Julio Rodriguez, next Ken Griffey Jr., Hall of Famer, big star. Oh, you gave him a massive contract for forever? Great job. And I've gone, you realize he's a rookie, right? And it's not like his numbers are that amazing. Like, he was really good. And he was really, really good for half a year. For the second half of last year. But you look at his entire season, and it's like, is it really something that you're going to be like, oh yeah, Hall of Famer, after 1 year? I don't need to see anything else. He hit 284 with 28 home runs. Like, random person, not rookie, would you say, oh, 284, 28 home runs, I'm going to give him a 10-year, $300 million contract?
I'd say that's mid.
Right.
Right, but you would expect a rookie to not put up those numbers.
That's true. That makes sense. But
are you concerned that he may not be as good as we think he is? Or is this just a sophomore slump?
maybe that's the case. But
he also
I don't know.
does have it's easy to get hard on Julio and talk about how bad he's playing. He's still one of the better, if not the best player on the team. He's not performing as the best player, but on a day in, day out, like he's one of the top couple guys on the team when they're struggling. So this isn't to say everything's okay, because it's obviously not okay.
Everything is
It's
not
only
okay.
to push back a little against your like terrible doom and gloom. Like
It's the
I'm
worst.
afraid Julio's just not good.
But I think
Yeah.
at least
Julio's good.
to Daniel's
We
point
don't know
about,
how good he's gonna be.
Right. Well, and that's true, because to Daniel's point about like how he was crowned nationally.
Yeah.
Remember, we went through MVP odds at the beginning of the season, and he was was it top 4 in AL MVP odds?
Yeah, he was either
So-
third or fourth.
With him in the home run
Which
derby
is-
last year at the All-Star break, he became this massive star. The national media knows who he is. Casual fans know who he is. So I think he might. It is possible that he got slightly overrated through that, and maybe he will be great, but maybe it won't happen as quickly, or maybe he's not junior. I think that's the thing, is like
Yeah.
we're all looking at Julio Rodriguez like he's going to be the next Ken Griffey Jr.
He's the second player on the team in RWAR right now.
Yes.
So all I'm saying is
You do
on a
realize
bad
that
team.
he's this. Yeah, on a bad
wait
team.
though.
He's the second best player on
When
our
a
war
team
on
plays
a crappy
well,
team.
when a team plays well,
Yeah.
usually the best players on that team also play better. Like if you're looking at this team and they're struggling, it isn't usually because like you don't usually see, possibly Trout and Ohtani being an exception. You don't usually see one player just being incredible and the entire other team being awful, because the other team being good around you makes it easier to be good.
See, I see what you're saying, and that's actually not true. Like, it does help you be better, but you see guys like Trout and Ohtani and, why am I blanking on his name? Miguel Cabrera for the Tigers, and guys who are on garbage teams putting up stupid numbers. You know why? Because you have individual matchups to put up
But
those
are
numbers.
I think that there's a difference between a garbage team and a at least decent team, at least mid to
So
above
you're saying
average.
We're
that
literally
once-
mid right
That's
So
plain
you're
bad.
saying, so you're saying that if you're mid, then your stars aren't actually going to play like
saying
stars.
that-
They only play like stars if they're
saying-
really good or really bad. But if they're mid, then
I'm
they
saying
play
that
mid.
when the problem with the team is that the people on the team are awful, that's a different team dynamic than when the problem with the team is that the people on the team are playing far below their career average and their ability.
But why is that affecting your superstar?
Because it's the same thing that's affecting the team.
So are you saying?
I'm saying
it's
the superstar is still subject to the same. Like I don't know what is causing the Mariners as an entire unit to play significantly below expectation.
Bad culture.
Possibly, I don't know. I'm just saying that when you look at the team and you say this entire team is playing way below their expected play, like they aren't terrible players
Where's Jesse
historically. But they're
We
playing
need to
like
fight.
terrible players. That is a different dynamic than this guy shouldn't be a major leaguer. This guy is 5 years past the end of his prime. This guy's terrible. This guy's an all-star and
So
is
y-
playing like the same way.
So I'm just trying to clarify what you're saying. Are you saying that whatever is causing the whole team to be underperforming is also causing Julio to be underperforming?
That seems likely.
Okay. So
I'm
it's not the same case as, hey, Mike Trout's playing with a bunch of garbage players
Yes.
for his whole career, and it's not anything to do, like whatever, there's not an overlying thing that's causing all of them to be garbage. They're just garbage.
Other than the
And so it's not a-
organization not building a good
And
enough
so,
team.
yeah, but it's not
Yeah.
like something that would affect him.
Yes,
So
that's
you're
the
saying there's
argument
a
I'm
problem.
making,
The
and
argument
I
you're
can't prove
making,
it.
The argument you're making is that there's some overarching problem that is literally causing everybody, including Julio, to not be as
That-
good as they are right now.
Probably COVID.
That's
Or
that
the economy.
seems. That's what I am. So I can't make the argument that is what is happening.
That's a hard argument, man.
I will say that is what seems to be happening. There's an entire team.
Except for Jared Kelenic, who's doing way better than he's done in his past.
Kelenic is right behind Julio in WAR. He's doing better than he has in the past, but he's doing worse than he was expected to do as a prospect.
Well, that's the other thing is we're doing this relatively because we're comparing Kelenic to what he was last year, which was poopy poop butt soup.
Yeah, well, not just last year, the year before that.
Right.
Like you're comparing,
but Kelenic has tailed off.
But you're comparing things to different eras, like because the rest of the people you're comparing to last year.
Well, not the rest of the people. I'm saying across the team. They're either very talented players that are not playing as well as they were expected to play, or they're players that have proven that they're very talented in the past and are not playing as well as they have played in the past, or they're players that have all of the tools to be very talented but can't put it together and play to what you could expect them to play given the tools that they've shown.
Well, they're not as good as we thought.
They're missing expectations rather than playing badly because they were expected to be bad because they're bad.
I agree with Andrew on that point, which is that they literally are playing worse than we thought they would.
And not just Homer fans. They're playing worse than anyone thought that they would.
Except for JK.
Except for Jared Kelenic, who everybody had written off before as one of those players. And
everybody who had written him off?
Dude, everybody had written him off. What are you talking about?
Yeah, dude.
Everyone was talking about how this was his last chance to reach his potential.
No, not reach his potential. This was his last chance to not get cut. This wasn't like he had. They weren't saying.
Yeah, that's what last chance means.
Yeah,
this is his last chance to reach his potential.
The potential,
if he doesn't reach his potential.
It changes because his potential was different. Remember what his potential was? Because you referenced that earlier. When he was younger, he was projected to be a star.
Wasn't he one of the top 2 or 3 prospects in the league?
In the league. Yeah. When he came up, it changed his expectations. It changed what his potential was. Because if he was doing what he's doing right now, before then, everybody was been like, man, he's kind of underperforming what we thought we'd be. But instead, what his expectations from after his previous 2 years were like, man, hopefully he figures it out and he can maybe be like a productive player.
Oh, see, I was hoping that I think that is not a universal thought. The hope was that he would figure it out and he would
become a star,
and he would be as good as we knew that he had the talent to be. Because the constant thing was that he had all of the physical tools, but he had to figure the mental part out.
Yes, Andrew, and you are putting way too much weight in that because the amount of people who have all of the physical tools and never figure that out is a pretty common thing in baseball. And so people were saying
I don't think that the physical tools are as common as you think.
And people were saying Jared Kelenic is another one of those guys who comes up where when they're in high school and when they're coming up through the minor leagues have all of these physical tools and they just never figure it out. That happens a lot. A lot. It's the rare ones that turn into Bryce Harper.
Fair.
That's my thought on that.
I'm lost on where you're going with this, though. How is that impacting what I'm saying, which is that the team as a whole is playing below expectation?
I'm saying that you say that even Julio is affected by this overarching nebulous problem that's bringing everybody down, but Jared Kelenic is not.
No, you're not. No, I'm saying that Jared Kelenic, who has figured it out, and if he wasn't being held down by this invisible weird cloud that's holding the whole team down, would also be a superstar.
This is the weirdest argument I've ever heard from you because you're arguing for something that's this weird
It's
cloud.
Not a thing.
It's our spider friend.
I am not arguing that this is what is happening. I'm saying that that's what it looks like. From the outside, the whole team is underperforming, and it's like it is hard to imagine it not being at least somewhat related to each other.
So, if I may,
and I can't tell you what it is, and I don't even know that I can argue that is what's happening. I am only standing outside and saying it looks like something's keeping the entire team down.
So we've talked before about protection in the lineup, right?
Yeah.
Like how literally having other guys in the lineup around you who are good makes a difference for hitters. Like there are logical reasons why that's true. Like if the person behind you, batting behind you, is good,
Yes.
you're more likely to get good pitches to hit because the pitcher is less likely to want to face the person behind you.
Yep.
So the better the batters are around you in the lineup, the more likely it is you are to get pitches to hit, just in general. And we've had Mariner teams in the past that I think we've had guys that have suffered from not having protection in the lineup. But I have felt like Julio was supposed to be the kind of star that's not a problem. Like he's the star that doesn't have that issue. Like when you have like Daniel was saying Mike Trout, right?
Yep.
So Mike Trout has gone through a lot of his career with very little protection.
Zero protection.
And still put up Joe DiMaggio like numbers.
Yes.
So for many, many guys in the league, it would be a problem not to have good hitters around you, but Julio was supposed to be, and maybe it's just he's too young for us to be making this assessment right now.
Yeah.
But going into this season, he had already announced his arrival, right?
Yep,
so he
that's
was
true.
supposed to be that kind of star, or maybe the national media announced
Everybody,
his arrival.
it seemed like,
So
announced his
because that was
arrival.
the expectation going into the season, he was supposed to be the kind of star who was above that. Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter if the guys around him didn't perform. He would do what Trout did, or he would do what Cabrera did in Detroit, or like and A-Rod did in Texas. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of different guys that have shown that if you're good enough, it doesn't really matter what kind of protection you have.
Exactly. Yeah. And it seems like we're not seeing that.
Yeah.
And so I assume that my expectations are too high because
I'm in your boat. Like my expectations also I think were too high.
because
Do
I
we know why
bought
Jose
into the
Caballero
hype.
hasn't been playing after the All-Star break?
I don't. No.
Because I just realized that it might just be Wong.
It might be White.
No,
Wait.
it might be
you
be
mean
Wong.
Wong's like a Jonah?
Maybe.
Like he got
Man,
swallowed by a whale.
He's played, I believe.
You have to throw him off the boat.
Hold on, I might be talking.
You have to throw him off the boat, is what it is, Justin.
Got it. Not he got swallowed by a whale.
Not yet. That's
Okay,
next.
all right.
You throw him off the boat,
Or a big
and then
fish, depending
and then
on
the
who you talk to.
Mets can pick him up.
Could have been a shark.
Yeah.
Maybe a megalodon.
Although the Jonah reference doesn't. I just heard my brain processed what you were saying.
About the megalodon?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we traded for Colton Wong. For
Yeah,
the reference
Wong-
to really
Wong
make
has-
sense, he'd
no,
have to be a free
yeah.
agent.
Okay.
Wong
Yeah.
Wong has played at second base the first 3 games after the All-Star break, which I hope that I hope there's a good reason for it because
Because he's been bad.
he's been bad.
Yep.
Well, I'm
And now
also
I'm gonna
very
go look and
curious
see what he's
about
done.
why Caballero isn't playing. Also, who is that?
He's the guy who came up to play second base when they've had a bunch of injuries.
Caballero is probably a better argument than
Oh,
Jared Kelenic.
than
wait a
Kelenic
minute,
against
wait a
my
minute.
thing
Is that-
because Caballero is absolutely playing above anything that anyone is or any that he's
is that
been popularly
Caballero?
expected.
I've only seen his name in print.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's spelled Caballero.
Oh, okay.
He's
I know who that is.
also significantly tailed off.
Yeah, Caballero.
Jose Caballero.
He's still 6th in WAR.
Daniel, are you ready to give some advice?
I guess. I still don't know what I'm giving advice about.
I have a very specific scenario that I would like to present you.
Okay.
Are we done with Mariners
Do I
talk?
need to? They did win today, but if the Mariners are they're in a stretch of bad teams and they just lost a series to the first one of those, they need to win the next 2 series, get a sweep in one of them, because then they're playing a bunch of really hard teams coming up against the trade deadline. And so if you want the Mariners to actually make a move that will help them this year, they need to go on a heater right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
3 days ago.
yeah. Otherwise, I'm sorry, but Trader Jerry is going to trade away some people that you like, and it's going to be more for
Bye,
the future.
Teoscar.
Yep. Bye, Teo.
Well, maybe then there will be nobody to collide with
To be
Julio in
fair-
the outfield.
Yeah.
If they traded Teoscar and got something back at all, it would be hard to be too mad.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, except for the fact that you were hoping that they would be buyers.
Yeah,
this year.
you'd be mad. You'd be
Your
mad at the
expectation-
season, but you
Yeah.
wouldn't be mad at the move, I guess.
Right.
You'd be mad at the move that was created by this failed season, which was created by the failed
Failed
management.
off season. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, I'm ready to give advice.
You seem nervous.
Yeah.
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
You are a wise man
I'm relaxing.
who gives sage advice.
Sage. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I have
So-
to give sage advice?
I have this friend.
Or parsley.
What about turmeric?
I have this friend,
Okay.
and this friend.
Is it you?
No,
Okay.
it's a friend. He got in an argument with another friend. All right.
Is the other friend you?
No, and this is a hypothetical scenario.
Okay. Too late for that. You already
So-
said it's a friend.
A friend got in an argument with another friend, and it was in a space where other people could see it. Like, not a ton of people, but like there were viewers of this argument.
Okay.
And
How heated was the argument?
it wasn't really heated, but it was like semi-heated.
Okay.
And then my friend realized later, after the argument was over, that the thing he said which started the argument was wrong. So
What's the
if you
worst?
were the other friend,
Yeah.
how would you want to be told? Or like, what should my friend do to say to the other guy, like, hey, I know we argued over this thing, and what I did say to start the argument was actually wrong?
How would you want to be told that?
Or what would be the best course of action for my friend to tell this other friend that he started an argument with something that wasn't factually correct?
That's a good one. So, do you want me to be serious with this?
Yeah.
Like, honestly?
Mhm.
So, humility goes a long way.
Okay.
So, if you can show humility and, be like, hey, just want you to know, we had this argument. I feel bad about how it all went because what I said to start this actually was wrong. And I found out that now. And so I just wanted to apologize because turns out I said blue was green. Blue is actually blue. I've learned this now. And I'm sorry that we had this argument about that.
Okay.
Some people think that if you have an argument in front of others, I noticed you mentioned that little side piece about it, that the apology should be in the presence of those others. I mean, if you find out really quickly, like if my wife and I argue in front of you and Andrew, and then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I was an idiot there. I should apologize to my wife in front of you and Andrew. But if it's like days or weeks ahead, I don't think you should be like, oh, I can't apologize to this person, or I can't tell them I was wrong until I'm in that group of people. I think you can just be like,
But if it happens that the instance was in that same setting, the person should still just go ahead and apologize.
I think so. I think, and it's just
So the keys are to be direct, honest, and humble. Is what I got out of that.
Thank you so much for distilling that down into 3 words.
Okay.
That was great.
Hey, Daniel. Do you remember when we got in an argument a couple months ago
No.
that started with me telling you that front offices call down into the dugout and tell the manager what to do?
Yes, I do remember that, and we got really upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out that was not correct.
It's not?
Wait.
I want to take this
I've
opportunity.
literally been living the last 3 months like that was correct.
I want to take this opportunity to let you know that
Wait,
I
wait,
misunderstood some things that I heard. I went back for clarification. Thank you, Andrew. And just to be direct and humble and honest, I messaged the source directly.
Okay.
And I said, hey, this is the way I understood this. Is this correct? And that source messaged me back and said, no, you've got that wrong. So, Daniel, I'm sorry. Because I started an argument under false pretenses. I didn't do it intentionally. I thought I was right. But it turns out that in almost every scenario, a front office is not calling the manager in the dugout to tell them what to do.
Wow. I appreciate that
Thank
so
you.
much because I had believed you like 100%. And I had to like completely shift how much blame or responsibility I put on managers.
Yeah.
So do they come with... They are heavily involved in it though,
So
right?
I'll tell you what I figured out through a combination of messaging the baseball executive who I was incorrectly quoting. I did a
Yeah, I
combination
want to hear
of-
more of that. That sounds
I
interesting.
messaged him. I went back and listened to some of the podcasts that I thought I had heard this stuff on, and
Right.
then did like a little bit of research to try to figure out what it was. I think I combined these two things that he said into one thing. One was that they try really hard as a front office to present the manager pregame with every possible scenario so that intervention would not be required. And in the rare occasion that something comes up in the game where they didn't have an idea of like, okay, here's what you do analytically or statistically based on that,
Right.
that they would call into them, or if the manager did something that the front office didn't like or they needed to interject on a decision, that they would call into the dugout to tell them, hey, this is what you need to do. And
Interesting.
I was told that is not correct, because the idea is that you prevent them with every possible scenario before the game. That way, those situations will be so rare, it wouldn't require intervention from the front office.
Gotcha.
But it does happen sometimes that a
Right.
manager just has to make a decision that they haven't said before, if this happens, you do this, but you have the information, so you make a decision based on the information. And then there was a separate thing that he had said about how in emergency scenarios, there is a way to call into the dugout, whether it's like a team president or even like the commissioner was like, hey, something's going on in this game that's bigger than this game and I need to talk to the manager.
Whoa.
That they have the ability to do that. Not even saying that happens, but like that the point was brought up that if they needed to, they could do that. And I like combined those two things in my head into them. This is my best understanding of how I messed it up.
Right. Okay. So the manager still doesn't have that much personal input on the decisions that are made in game.
Well, they can
Or
do
maybe
whatever
not-
they want in game, but then they have to deal with the repercussions from the
Gotcha.
I guess like if you
'Cause-
lump like front office, team president, like that group of people together,
Yeah.
the manager can do whatever they want, and it's not like somebody's going to come tell them, no, you can't do that. But then after the game is over, if that thing doesn't work, then they're going to hear about it.
Because
So
you
I-
like defend yourself.
The way that I view how the Mariners work, right, is because they talk about, or Dipoto,
Yeah.
who when he does his weekly
Lie fest.
Lie Fest,
Yeah.
he generally says that they meet as a team before like every game,
Yeah.
and go through those things. But
Right.
service is part of that team,
Yeah.
so he has some input on it.
But
I
that
would assume.
essentially they have a game plan going into the game where they want to cover every possible pitching
Right.
change and every possible pinch hitter, and like they don't want to have a scenario in game that they haven't discussed pre-game.
So this makes me think that great, we have a collective group of morons who are saying you should pinch hit AJ Pollock for people. Great.
probably
This
true.
makes me feel so much better.
It's probably true, but you were right though,
But I was more right.
and that was good advice that you gave my friend. Appreciate that.
Yeah, make sure you remember to pass that along.
Yeah.
Well, I think this concludes the advice from Daniel. But we do still have some local sports stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about a little league team that won a big-time tournament, and we've got some Gulls updates as well. Not a lot of other sports going on besides that, and we need to talk a little bit about our cornhorn tournament as well. But first, let's take a quick commercial break.
At Ole Penn Real Estate, we have solidified our foundation on 4 core values. First, we continuously focus on growing our knowledge in the market and in our practices to bring the highest level of competency to our clients. Second, we provide a high level of integrity, compassion, and kindness in every aspect of our business. Third, we put the human element above business through humor, enthusiasm, and patience. And last but not least, we proactively respond to the needs of our clients. Our mission is to create a personal real estate experience, one person and one home at a time. With OliPen, it's personal.
Welcome back to the Scrimmage. I'm Justin Damashevitz. Daniel Hargrove here with me, as well as producer Andrew Gross here, trying his best to make us sound good, which is a tall task, but he's doing it.
Tough job.
So we got to the best part of our show now, because we're going to talk about local sports. But before we do that, let's talk about the Cornhorn Tournament.
So when I first saw this in the show sheet, I was like, oh, somebody wrote a typo, and I started changing it, and then I saw that the first one says Cornho Tournament. The next one says Cornhorn Tournament, and the last one's Cornho Tournament.
Yeah, I did that on purpose, and it worked.
Yeah,
Congratulations, Ron Burgundy.
No, I didn't say it. I started editing it is what I started doing. Then I realized that you did it on purpose. So, yeah.
You did just say it, though.
I said it first. So we're hosting a actual cornhole tournament, not cornhorn.
Yeah.
Or cornhoe.
Cornhorn. What's a cornhorn?
I don't know.
Sounds
But-
musical.
Sounds like a cornucopia.
We still have slots available in our
Yes.
cornhole tournament.
We currently have. Oh, I had it. I had it up. I had it.
I think we have 5 slots available still. Or is it 6? 5 or 6?
We have
That's team slots, right?
5,
Yeah.
6, 7. Because we have 9 out of the 16 slots. We have Andrew and Albert. We have Ryan and Robbie. We have Johanna and Jalen. We have Eddie and TBH. Wait, not TBH.
TBD?
TBD. There it is.
To be honest.
Or-
AFC?
To be named later.
YMCA.
TBNL. There it is. We have Forrest Wargum and wife. Oh,
Okay.
I wasn't doing last names, and I just threw Forrest out there.
Well, Forrest is a friend of the show.
That's true.
Takes good photos. Check
Yep.
out his Facebook page.
Awesome photos. We have Daniel and Justin.
No
Front runners.
relation.
Just put future champions.
Future champs. We have
Because of my strategy.
Yeah, your
of
amazing
throwing it
strategy.
into the hole.
Yeah.
Every time.
We have Emily and Brian. We have Alex and Colby, and we have Tyson Camden.
Yeah.
There's a couple of people on there who've been talking lots of smoke, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got spots left, but we only have 7 spots. I'm limiting it to 16 teams because I don't want to try to figure out a double elimination bracket that is more than 16 teams worth of people.
That's a lot.
Don't want to do it. Also, I'm kind of hoping our event runs to be about 2 hours, and I'm going to be like
So this is a double elimination tournament.
Yeah, double elimination, 16-team field, and I'm going to be like the pace police.
Yeah, if you don't go fast enough, if you don't throw fast enough, we play the corn horn.
Yeah.
At our corn horn tournament.
We're going to have a pitch clock.
So if people want to come and join us, we're going to be at Mount Olympus Brewing from 7 to 9.
Yep.
We're going to have live music for an hour of that.
Yes.
From Angel Phoenix and Christian the Man Svinth.
No relation.
Yeah. And it's going to be a good time. Live music, cornhole. There's always going to be good drinks and food at Mount Olympus Brewing.
Yes.
If you haven't been there, it's
Great
actually pretty
food.
cool. Like, it's a fun family environment. The last time I went there, it was like to watch live music, and it was in the late in the night, and there was like a group of kids coloring in coloring books on the floor. Like,
Yeah.
it's a great environment for everybody. It's not just for adults.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a good time. So come join us. And maybe you listen to the show, but you haven't really got a chance to meet us in person. You'll enjoy meeting Daniel.
Justin, on the other hand, maybe not. If you're an athlete of the week, if you're a former OliPen Real Estate athlete of the week, come by and we'll give you some free stuff.
Yeah. We have a special gift for you.
Yeah, so special.
Yeah.
That was a weird look I gave
that
after
was
saying
weird.
Hey,
You
hey.
made that awkward.
A lot of
Sorry.
work goes into these gifts.
That's true. The gifts are very special,
We should do
but
a
we're not
post.
going to say what they are yet.
We'll
Are we
put a
saying what they
post
are?
out on our socials that says, "Hey,
We got some
specifically,
Gucci swag.
if you not
It's
literally,
bussin'.
not the brand
It's
Gucci. Like, please, if you're an athlete of the week, do not expect that we're going to give you a Gucci purse if you come to this. It's cool stuff, but it's not $800 alligator skin shoes or whatever they sell at Gucci.
Oh, no, not actual Gucci.
Yeah.
Slang
You'll be
Gucci.
dripping.
Will you? I forgot what dripping means. What's drip?
If you
mean?
have drip, that's like, isn't it like
It's
like a
like style.
stylish?
It's style.
I thought you
and-
said drip was confidence.
Like-
no, Riz is confidence.
No,
and
Riz is charisma.
Charisma is interchangeable with confidence. Confidence and charisma are incredibly closely linked.
I might have linked drip and confidence.
Somebody
earlier.
said
Yeah,
drip
you
and
did.
I think
confidence.
I did. Yeah.
Okay,
Drip is more about dress.
that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, like if you're a baseball player and you have an awesome chain, you got some
I was linking.
bus and drip.
Yeah.
It's mid. No cap.
Oh boy.
All right, we got a little bit of local sports.
This is us going after the youth demographic.
Let's, how we doing, guys? If you're a Gen Zer out there, give us straight facts, no cap.
Your sons are they're just so embarrassed.
I'm
by us
picturing
right now.
if either of my boys see this, they're gonna be like, "Dad, nobody says that stuff anymore." Because like some of these things,
that's
some of
probably
these
true.
slang terms last 6 months.
As soon
like,
as you
sus
hear
was a
them on the
6-month
radio, it's not
gone.
like if somebody as soon as we hear about it as adults, it's not cool
thing.
anymore.
I mean, yes and no, because there's another one is bet. I didn't put this in there, but kids say, "Oh, bet."
Yeah.
Now, and
Which
I
means
actually don't really know what it means.
it just means for sure. Like you bet.
Or cool, or like, yeah.
It's not like bet you can't do that.
Well,
Or
that's
bet I
the,
can?
No,
That's the
it's-
literal meaning of the word.
It's just like
Oh,
a
crap.
confirmation, I believe.
Oh.
Like,
Well, I've been using that.
oh,
one
you got
wrong.
me some cookies? Oh, bet. Or, oh, you got me some pizza? Oh, bet.
some Gucci pizza that was busted, no lie, no
Really-
cap.
No cap.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I'll take the Grays Harbor Gulls update, and then you can talk about Elma Little League.
Right.
Do you guys
Which
want music?
I was still hoping for Hannah, if you're listening. Darn it! I was hoping that we had gotten the full list of the players from Elma Little League.
Well,
but
once
we
we-
do have a ton of stuff from them.
Well, we did already share a post to congratulate them
Sweet.
for winning,
Yeah.
but once we get a little more information, we'll put
Yeah.
some together that we can put out on the socials. But I do want to mention a couple things Gulls-wise. The Grays Harbor Gulls FC Academy Boys U15 team. This is a team we've talked about a lot. They're really good. They made it to the final of the 44th annual Tumwater Kick in the Grass tournament with a record of 2-0-1. They scored 19 goals and allowed only 1 goal in the 3 games. And they're playing 2 years up, so they're playing up 2 years in competition level. The Gulls decided to pass their championship game appearance to another team called the Galaxy because the Gulls had several boys with an opportunity to try out for the WPL Surf Academy, which, as I've gotten clarification on this, it's a premier travel team, and it only takes the top players. So some of these guys had a chance, and their coaches were very supportive. I got a message from Eddie about this, that he was really excited that so many of their kids got a chance to try out, that he was happy to be like, yeah, well, let's give this other team a chance to play in that title game because these guys have a chance to, progress in their dream of,
Right.
playing football at the next level. So it's
Rob
pretty
is
cool.
booing you, Daniel.
It's a pretty cool opportunity.
Understandable. I'll take it.
Okay. Also from that 3 games that they had, Michael Garcia 5 goals and an assist.
Shocker.
So potential athlete of the week there. Hebron Garcia 3 goals and an assist. JB Fabian had 3 goals and 3 assists.
Oof.
And Yvonne Rodriguez had 3 goals and 3 assists as well.
I call that a triple.
Yeah. And then there was another note.
It's a double triple, Daniel.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's a triple double.
Bad job by me.
Oh dang it! Triple double's a basketball thing.
Yep.
They even pulled their goalie Mauricio to play on the field and make a change, like switch things up when they were winning by a lot, and he scored a goal. So we get a
Of
lot of
course
stuff
he
about
did.
Mauricio, like, oh, Mauricio didn't allow a goal for 150 plus minutes, and now he scores a goal.
Yep.
So pretty cool stuff going on with the Grays Harbor Gulls right now. Definitely a couple of potential Athlete of the Week nominations in there for those guys. And I think that there might have been... Go ahead and start talking about the Elma Little League. There was one more thing
right.
from Gulls that I think might need to be mentioned.
All right, we also have the Elma Little League intermediate team, which won the state tournament. They defeated Bellevue Little League twice on Saturday, 6-3 and 6-2, to win the title. Prior to Saturday, Bellevue had not been scored on in their district or state tourneys, Elma will advance to the Western Regionals in, I don't know how to pronounce that, Arizona. Nogales?
Yeah, probably.
We'll go with Nogales. We have some more information from them for the state tournament. Their team batting average was .317. They had 52 stolen bases. What? 1 home run. That was by Troy Roop. Their pitchers combined for an ERA that was 3.94. They had 63 strikeouts, and their opponent batting average was .233. I'm loving all the stats that we got from them, by the way. They had a great stat from districts, which was that 55% of their pitches thrown were strikes. Just the fact that you have that detail of stats.
Game changer.
Game changer.
It's a game changer.
It's the app, right?
The Game Changer app is a literal game changer.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I had nothing like that when I was a kid. I had my dad with a book while he was trying to coach. It was not great. But, you know, maybe that's why my on-base percentage stats were so good, because he was keeping the book while he was coaching. I don't know. I got on base a lot. But I think most of them were errors, which shouldn't count.
How old were you?
10 and 11 and 12?
Yeah, in Little League, we usually count those as hits.
Oh, sweet.
Unless it's like a really blatant horrible
Dude,
error.
those were hits?
Yeah.
My batting average would have been like 700.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. It wasn't that good.
It would be like 650.
Let's see. Their top 6 hitters, their batting average in the state tournament was .421, .409. That was Bryson Crawford was .421. Jackson Busey was .409. Tied for third was Troy Roop and Trayson Sample, who hit .364. James, gonna mess up this name, Modersone hit .357. Jordan Lyle hit .350. Lyle also led the team in stolen bases with 8 and scored 8 runs.
That's a lot.
Their coaches, it's a lot. Their coaches are Mike Lyle, Zach Roop, and Brian Crawford. They scored 49 runs and allowed just 19 runs all tournament. And the team fielding percentage was .938, which is just ridiculous for like this age level. Of the 11 players, 7 are hitting over 300. That's just silly.
That's really crazy.
Which is why they're going to regionals
Yeah.
in Arizona. That's awesome.
Quick skip back. I got one more thing to mention about Gulls, and then we're going to dive into a little more about this Elma Little League team.
Okay.
So at that tryout for the WPL Surf Academy, JB Fabian was selected to join that elite team.
Wow.
And the other 5 guys from the Grays Harbor Gulls who tried out are all getting called back for a second tryout.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So in addition to JB having 3 goals and 3 assists in those 3 games when they went 2-0-1, he also had that tryout and got selected to be a part of that it's a big deal.
That's
it's a
a
premier
huge
travel
deal.
team.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome.
So with this Elma Little League team, I think just so everybody understands like exactly what you have to go through to get to that level. All these teams typically, even though the intermediate team pool is generally a little smaller because
Is that 13-year-olds?
13 and 14, I
Okay.
think is what it is. So there are a little bit less teams, but there's still a lot. So they have to go play first in a district tournament. They have to win the district tournament. And then what they just won is the second tournament they've won because that's a state tournament. And then they're going on to the next level, which is a regional tournament. And I assume there's a national tournament after that.
That would make sense. That's
But-
usually what it is. Usually go from regionals to nationals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when is it the World Series?
I don't know because this is
Or
where
is the World Series a different age group?
The
It's a
televised
12-year-old.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's
the Little League World Series.
Yeah, that's the 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
So this is an
Oh,
age
okay.
group up from that.
right.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So and that was part of it is I don't know, like I know with some of the younger age groups it stops at a certain point. So like if
Yeah.
you get to state or regionals it might end there. So I don't know if they win regionals if they go to a national tournament or not.
Why don't they
I
televise
think they do.
the?
It's weird, man. My
Because
buddy and I
that'd
were
be
just
fun to
talking
watch
about
too.
this. Basically, they care about Little League, and then they don't care about baseball again. And I mean,
But this
by,
isn't Little. I thought this was Little League. I'm sorry.
It's under the Little League umbrella.
Okay,
it's
but it's
13 and 14-year-olds, though.
Yeah.
okay.
So,
So is that the same age as Babe Ruth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
okay. Okay. I understand then.
It's just another, like, in Montesano, there used to be Babe Ruth, and then the people who ran Babe Ruth were aging out and they weren't going to run it anymore, and there was nobody else to do Babe Ruth, so the Montesano Little League extended past 12, because it was only up till 12 for a long time. They extended into the intermediate so that those kids that were in the junior high age range would still be able to play, which I assume is also what Elma did as well. So it is like an extension of Little League, but it's still under the Little League umbrella.
Okay. That makes more sense to me that it's the different age group, but I don't understand why there wouldn't be a, like, that age group would also be really fun to watch in national competition.
It's possible that it's because there are more options, so, like, there's less teams. Like, because you said Babe Ruth, for example, and then also there's a lot of travel baseball going on. So not as many kids in that age group play Little League specifically. They're still playing baseball, but they play at other places.
And
so
honestly,
when you're 12 years old, unless you live in Hoquiam, there's only one organization that really everybody's playing, and that's Little League.
Shots
so that's
fired.
where pretty much all the best players are there.
And also, the popularity of the Little League World Series and why that's televised is probably the only reason why all of the travel ball kids of those age groups still play in Little League.
play Little League.
Because those travel ball parents are still like, oh, if we do Little League, they could be All-Stars. And then if they be All-Stars, we could have our kids on TV. And that's what travel ball parents are keeping their kids playing Little League. Well, after that, they're like, there's no televised tournament. Let's go play at all the perfect game specials and do our travel ball. And so that's why Babe Ruths and Little Leagues and all these are starting to decline. That's not taking anything away from this team, which beat teams from Bellevue and Seattle. And, like, it's crazy. The
So
the
you're
road they're
telling
taking.
me that creating a national, like a regional national championship series and televising it is not only a moneymaker, but could serve to help baseball.
It could if it was tied to an organization that had a regular season which was, all-inclusive and had the ability for people to play a lot in their own town/region.
Yeah.
Which is hard when
Like
kids
Little
start
League.
getting older.
Yeah.
Yeah, even a lot of the Little Leagues, even at the younger levels, the towns are crossing over. So, like, Monty plays Elma and Aberdeen.
Which is why Hoquiam, get out of Cal Ripken already. You need more people to play.
Where's the Cal Ripken World Series televised?
Nobody knows. It's probably televised in, like, Bangladesh or something like that.
Oh, with the Pac-12 network.
Yes. That's where you can find the Cal Ripken World Series with the Pac-12 network. Sorry. That was a random
I'm
tangent.
sorry. I did that. That was my fault. I was curious about that.
It is odd, though, because even back when it was more popular in, like, Babe Ruth age groups, people care a lot about the Little League World Series, and then youth baseball kind of goes dark for national recognition until the pros.
It's the awkward stage. They're not as cute.
There's also a lot of there's a lot of statistics about just how many kids play baseball through age 12 and then don't continue to play.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because Little League, the organization is more accessible than the other ones are. Like, when you go to Babe Ruth, is it more expensive or more of a pain? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing at one point that, something like 2 million kids play Little League baseball nationwide, and like roughly 50% of those kids will never play baseball again. Once their 12-year-old Little League year is over, they're just done with baseball. So it's, for so many, like a massive percentage of these kids, baseball is not a bridge to, what you're going to do in high school or college or whatever. It's literally just something fun you do when you're a kid.
Yeah. Which is great.
Which is part of the reason why Little League baseball is so fun, if it's coached correctly.
Yes, absolutely.
There is a Junior League Baseball World Series.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Yeah.
So there it does end up with a
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you have any more to add on that?
We need to name an athlete of the week. Was there one of the kids that stood out statistically?
We also have Ava Talley is running tonight for nationals.
Yep.
So while we're still in the local sports roundup, Ava is running tonight at nationals.
For Reined Cow Horse, is that right?
Yes, Reined Cow Horse, and that is with Quattro, right?
Yes.
It starts at 6 p.m. Pacific. And apparently it's available on Cowboy Channel Plus if anyone is super into rodeo
I don't
sports
know.
and wants to watch.
I don't know what.
I think it's a $10 per month subscription. I was just looking at it.
Gotcha. I was gonna say I don't know what that is, but Ava, good luck. We are all rooting for you, and man, we hope that this dream continues because it has been a crazy run for Ava and Quattro. Reined cow horse. Can somebody explain that event to me a little bit?
I think that you were showing it
I
a
watched
few weeks, a month or so ago.
I pulled
True.
up videos of this. It is like a horse chasing a cow around and getting it to go where it needs to go.
Right. Okay. Yes. I saw it.
Like in a
Awesome.
way that honestly, when I watched it, I did not know that horses could move the way that the horses moved in Reined Cow Horse. It's incredibly impressive.
Gosh, the problem with selecting an athlete of the week from this Elma team is there's so many studs. Like you got Bryson Crawford and Jackson Busey, who are both hitting over
Busey.
400. Busey.
Is it Bucy?
Yes.
Yeah, Busey.
Busey. You also have Troy Roop, who's hitting 364 and he hit a dinger. And you've got Jordan Lyle, who's hitting 350, and he led the team with 8 stolen bases and scored 8 runs. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah. I mean, it's the
And
same problem that we ran into with Monty softball. They
Yeah.
won a state title. We were never able to give them an athlete of the week all
Right.
season
It's true.
because there were too many contributors.
So what do we do? What's your thought?
My thought is once we get all the information of the full roster, let's make a really nice Facebook post congratulating the Elma state championship Little League team. And my vote would go to JB Fabian from Grays Harbor Gulls Academy for 3 goals and 3 assists over the 3 games, and then also being selected to that premier surf team.
You make a compelling argument. But
It
what
is-
if you're wrong? What do you have to apologize to me in a couple months?
Then I'll ask for your
I've got the
advice on
music.
how to do it.
I've got the music queued up.
That was my friend, though, not me.
No, I 100% agree. I think that this team of Elma Little Leaguers is awesome, and with the stats that we received, I think every player deserves to be recognized as much as the other. And also, JB Fabian, I think, is someone who has kind of flown under the radar because
We've mentioned him a lot, but
but not as much as Michael, who
Right.
scores
Or
most of the
Hebron.
goals, or Hebron. So I'm leaning towards Fabian here. I love I think I'm going to call it a double triple
okay,
with
the
the
double triple.
3 goals and 3 assists.
I like it.
That is a sick game.
Yeah,
Or was it a game, or was it throughout the
it was
tournament?
throughout 3 games of the
Okay.
tournament.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Still, and
And-
then getting selected to that team is darn near close to signing a letter of intent,
Yes.
to
Well,
go play at a college team.
And I think the arc of that team is really interesting because when we first started talking about them, it was like, hey, they scored 6 goals in this game. Michael had 5 of them.
Yep.
And like Michael Garcia literally was scoring almost all their goals.
Yep.
But in this most recent season, you know, Hebron and Yvonne and some of these other guys like stepped up and started, you know, the goal scoring was much more even.
Yep.
So where JB early on was getting just all the assists, and then he kind of has shifted into a position where he's getting goals and assists.
Yeah,
So,
it's really interesting.
yeah, I'm glad that we were able to give him some recognition for sure, because you're right that, like, when you say he flew under the radar, where we've mentioned him a million times, but he's never gotten the actual athlete of the week.
Yeah.
So I feel good about that.
Absolutely. Andrew, you were laughing. Did somebody say something to us?
Francis is hitting up the comments. He first he was trying to call me out, I think, because I said rodeo sports, but he said, wait, rodeo is a sport, but track and cross country aren't. Ava's awesome, but track and cross country athletes are basically the horses, and they race without riders. And first of all, I feel like I haven't argued that track and cross country aren't a sport, but I told him that track and cross country is a cruel and unusual punishment.
Justin has said many times
Yes,
that
Justin has.
track athletes are not sports.
And also I would like to say that call me back when the track and cross country athletes are running the races with riders. That will be more impressive. He also says that he loves the open shirt look, Daniel. Hubba hubba bubby.
Oh, man. I didn't even realize it's just hot in here.
You got a little Hasselhoff thing going on.
Do I got the hamburger meat?
Yeah, a little
Does
hamburger
anybody
meat.
know why it's called hamburger meat? Because that's super weird and creepy.
It is weird. It also doesn't look anything like hamburger
Right?
meat. So why is it called that?
I don't know.
Andrew?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Effort that
I've never
for us.
heard it called that other
Oh, really?
than in your family.
Really?
And I don't know. I don't hear a lot of people talking about chest hair other than in your family either. So. So I don't know if it's just your family or not.
Thankfully, I have heard from at least one outside source who also called it
Okay.
hamburger meat.
Okay.
So is it Hargroves?
Otherwise, I would have been worried.
Are you the Hargroves or the Hairgroves?
The hair groves. We've been called the hair groves before, or I have.
Hamburger Groves.
So our Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week is
From the Grays Harbor Gulls, it's JB Fabian for 3 goals and 3 assists through 3 games of a tournament and being named
triple.
to the premier. Hold on, let me get the name of it just to be sure.
it is WPL Surf Academy.
Boom.
Yeah.
Congratulations, JB. We're happy for you. We're rooting for you. And congratulations because you've got one of the highest honors possible,
Yeah.
which is you are the Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week.
You thought it was reaching this academy, but no,
It's not.
it just got better.
Yeah.
Just
Somehow.
got better.
Congratulations to us.
Yes. Remember, don't forget, especially Francis, who's on there, Rob, if he's still listening, come to our cornhole tournament, 7 to 9.
Cornhorn.
Gosh darn it. Mount Olympus,
Cornhole.
7 to 9, Friday, the 21st. Live music by Angel Phoenix and Christian the Mansfint. Don't know if that's his stage
I'm
name.
trying to get that going.
Yeah.
Come
we should get
argue
going.
about whether track and cross country is a real sport with Justin in person.
Yes, and
He's
you
much
know what?
easier to yell at in person.
It's true. If you want to play, great. If you want to just come in and hang out, also great. Like, you don't have to play to come.
Yeah.
So we want you there.
Actually,
It'll
many
be a
of
lot
the
of fun.
people who are there will not be playing.
Yeah.
They'll just be enjoying fantastic drinks. Last time I was there, I had one. I think it was called the Hawaiian Chieftain. So good.
Very good. I had that last time I was there, too.
Yeah, and then I didn't get food, but I looked at the people around me who had
Dude.
food, and I was jealous.
Food is so good there. My wife had some pork tacos, I think that was there.
Tacos.
We went back and had them again. That's how good they were. We just went back for the tacos. Delicious.
Francis says, "Go Duke," and Rob says, "A chance to yell at Justin?" Yes.
I might stay home.
We know our You can't. You're already signed up for the tournament. That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you to our sponsors, Ole Penn Real Estate and the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. No relation. What's the A stand for?
Are you gonna do all of it?
Do the whole outro.
So, for my trusty producer, Andrew, the thing is, gross.
And my co-host, Daniel Hamburger Meat Hairgrove.
And my co-host, Justin, I'm asking for a friend, Domashevitz. You've been listening to The Scrimmage.